Welcome to The Explainer, everyone. Today we're doing something a bit different. I want you to step into the shoes of an anthropologist with me. Imagine we're just blowing the dust off this old, weathered field journal. We're going to document one of the most profound, rapid, and honestly heartbreaking cultural transitions in human history. We're talking about the incredible 30-year journey of the Mlabri people. As you'll see, we're basically looking at a timeline that compresses millennia of human evolution into just a few short decades.
Now, what's really interesting here is that number, 215. At the time our source documentary was filmed, that was the total number of individuals from this specific tribe left in existence, just 215 people. They're the fragile remnants of a nomadic, hunter-gatherer lifestyle that actually mirrors how all of humanity lived for roughly 3 million years. I mean, really think about the weight of that. 215 heartbeats, keeping a 3-million-year-old way of life alive.
So who exactly are these 215 people? Well, they call themselves the Mlabri, which beautifully translates to the people of the forest. But the outside world, the local villagers in northern Thailand and Laos who would occasionally just stumble upon their abandoned fading campsites, they call them Feng Wang, the spirits of the yellow leaves. I really want you to absorb that contrast for a second. To themselves, they're just people, deeply grounded in the earth. But to the outside world, they're ghosts, phantoms of the jungle.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our research itinerary for today. We'll start with our initial field notes on the yellow leaves, move into life under the canopy, document the disappearing jungle, examine their assimilation, and finally, listen to the echoes of the forest.
Section 1. Field Notes. The Yellow Leaves. First encounters in 1985. Imagine stepping into the dense, quiet valleys of northern Thailand almost 40 years ago, where we first met an elder named Thapa, his wife Pong, and their nomadic clan moving silently through the bamboo.
Let's map out our master ledger. The window of time here is astonishingly rapid. In 1985, they're completely nomadic, isolated hunter-gatherers. Fast forward just 8 years to 1993, and deforestation forces them into wage labor. By 2001, they're settling into structured villages. By 2008, they're fully immersed in a cash-based market economy. And by 2015, a mere 30 years from that magical first encounter, their traditional world is effectively gone. It's a devastatingly fast collision between an ancient society and the modern world.
Section 2. Life under the canopy. Taking without depleting. Let's document the actual mechanics of their traditional survival, which, honestly, was a masterpiece of ecological balance.
And this brilliantly illustrates their architectural cycle, which was perfectly synced with nature's rhythm. Step 1, they secure a bamboo framework. Step 2, they cover the roof with large green banana leaves. And Step 3, they abandon the camp in 8 to 10 days the second those leaves turned yellow. Hence the spirits of the yellow leaves, right? This constant movement wasn't just wanderlust, it was an absolutely crucial survival strategy. By moving every week or so to a new camp a day's march away, they made sure they never depleted the local game or foraging routes. The forest could just instantly regenerate right behind them.
When you dig into our field notes, you find these expressions of profound joy in what we'd probably consider incredibly harsh conditions. The Mlabri used to express their thanks to the forest by saying, "We sleep with our heads covered with biting ants, our backs and bellies covered with stinging ants, and we are so happy." I absolutely love this quote. It completely humanizes their resilience. They joyfully embrace the jungle. They put up with the insects to gather their absolute favorite treat, wild honey. The jungle, with all its biting ants, its mysteries, and its deep silence, was their true protective home. It was literally their reason for being.
Section 3. The Disappearing Jungle. The Encroachment of 1993. When our team returned, the majestic canopy protecting Tapa's band was being violently slashed for timber and farmland. The devastating reality was that outside logging and farming completely destroyed their food sources. The Mlabri had absolutely no choice but to work for neighboring Hmong tribes and Thai villages just to survive. They were paid in small amounts of rice, or maybe a black pig. But here's the most tragic irony of the whole thing. To earn that food, these people of the forest were required to help slash and burn the very jungle that birthed them. They were forced to participate in an act that was completely alien and abhorrent to their own nature.
Section 4. Assimilation and Survival. From Canopy to Concrete. Entering the 2000s, local authorities and foreign missions stepped in, jarringly shifting the Mlabri from roaming freedom into a heavily regimented society.
So the crucial point is comparing their traditional autonomy to their modern reality. In their traditional economy, they took without depleting, followed the seasonal cycles, traded wild honey. They were entirely, beautifully autonomous. But the modern economy? It threw them into agricultural fields under a scorching sun. Now, instead of hunting, they labor all day for 200 to 300 baht, which is just a handful of dollars, to buy biscuits and sweets using crumpled paper money that the elders initially barely even understood. Their natural independence was replaced almost overnight by this confusing dependence on wage labor.
When we methodically map out their cultural pillars, it reveals a total substitution. Take religion, for instance. Their deep animistic respect for the forest spirits was pressured by state Buddhism and foreign Baptist missions aiming to change their beliefs. Their diet shifted completely from wild game, roots, and honey to domestic sticky rice, pork, and processed sweets. And for entertainment, the magical sounds of their bamboo Ken reed instruments played around a crackling firelight were replaced by the glow of televisions and the roar of motorbikes. The profound, silent murmur of the forest has literally been permanently drowned out by the noise of the modern village.
Section 5. Echoes of the Forest, 2015, and the Permanent Loss. 30 years after that first encounter, the transformation is complete. Tarmacked roads have replaced trails, and a whole new generation has never even known the canopy.
There's a profoundly heavy moment in our source material when the elder, Tapa, reflects on this new life. He says, "I'm happy here. I don't know if the young people could live in the forest. I'm not sure they could." That quote right there, that's the emotional anchor of this entire explainer. Tapa is realizing, with this quiet, devastating melancholy, that the generational bridge to their ancestral forest has been permanently burnt. The ancient knowledge of how to read the invisible signs of the jungle and hear the inaudible shifts in nature is fading away forever with the elders.
I want to leave you with this final thought. What profound wisdom do we all lose when the last spirits of the yellow leaves finally vanish into the noise of the modern world? When a 3-million-year-old way of living in perfect sustainable balance with nature is traded for crumpled paper money and concrete, it challenges every single one of us to look closely at the true, hidden costs of modern progress. Thank you so much for joining me in opening this ledger and experiencing this explainer today. Keep asking questions, keep seeking understanding,